So, if you're getting ready for college, you've probably already seen a dozen of videos telling you what you should buy, but what about the things you shouldn't buy? Well, in today's video, I'm going over the top things you should hold off on buying before college. Starting off with a printer. Most universities have printing stations nearby your dorm, so bringing a printer for yourself is extra weight, extra cash, and an extra thing you probably don't really need. Now, I will say, there are some cases in which you may want a printer, such as if you're at a college that doesn't have printing stations, though again, most universities do, so this goes for everything in this list. Make sure you do your research. See if your university has printers you can use. And next up, a router. A router is a device that broadcasts Wi-Fi to your surrounding area, allowing you to use the internet on your laptop, your phone, and whatever other devices you have. And although this is essential for your living space, if you're in a dorm or any on-campus location, you probably don't need one. Your dorm space will already have it there. Now, if you're moving into an apartment or off-campus housing, that's a different story. You might actually need to purchase a router, so check with your landlord beforehand. But if you're in the dorms, especially for your first year, it's unlikely you'll need a router. You can always call the front desk of your dorm to confirm too. Next up, textbooks too early. And honestly, this is probably one of the biggest mistakes many new college students make. Because you get your schedule, you get excited, and then you immediately start buying every textbook you might need. Don't do that. It can get so expensive. I suggest waiting until your classes actually start, because that way your professor will announce what you actually need to pass the course, such as the specific textbook and also oftentimes the online program used for homework. So if you buy a used textbook early, which oftentimes will not come with the new program, you're really out of luck for that online program for homework. I've actually had some professors, despite what the syllabus might say, actually never verbally suggest buying their textbooks, stating that the lecture slides are good enough. So really, the last thing you want is to spend hundreds of dollars on books that end up sitting on your shelf all semester. So unless a professor specifically tells you to buy something beforehand, I'd hold off. Now, next up is one that might be a little controversial, and that's a car. Now, don't get me wrong. If you already own a car, that's one thing. But if you're considering buying one specifically for college and intend on paying for parking, I'd really think about whether you actually need it and whether you can actually use it. Because in addition to the cost of the vehicle itself, you have insurance, gas, maintenance, parking permits, and everything else that comes with owning a car, on top of most colleges being pretty car prohibitive. Most underclassmen walk to class, use public transportation, bike, or simply ride with friends. So I'd say unless you're very financially fortunate or have a guaranteed need for a car, I'd hold off on it, at least for the first semester. And the next thing I'd hold off on would be home workout equipment. I know it's pretty common to dream of building the ultimate dorm setup for some of you watching, but in regard to your exercise equipment, it's likely really unnecessary. Most colleges already have a gym, and typically they're pretty decent. So bringing dumbbells, workout benches, heck, a resistance machine wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Remember, you're there to study, and when you're not studying, you should be experiencing the world that your university has to offer, not staying cooped up in your room. Now, another thing I'd think carefully about is getting a pet before college. Now, obviously, there are some exceptions to this, such as a legitimate service animal, but for most students, I'd really think this one through, especially for the incoming freshmen watching. Because once classes start, you're balancing coursework, studying, clubs, work, friends, and everything else that comes with a college life. And you're about to learn how rather hard it is to keep yourself alive on ramen noodles. Adding another living creature to that equation might not be the best idea. On top of that, many dorms don't even allow pets. Vet bills can get expensive, and finding pet-friendly housing later on can make things more difficult. So before making that commitment, make sure you're prepared for everything that comes with it. And finally, the last item I'd suggest holding off on buying before attending college is an iron. Now, this one isn't nearly as expensive as some of the other items we've discussed, but for a lot of students, it's simply not something you'll use very often. I was a pharmacy student, which meant I wore my white coat and suits very often. Yet, honestly, I didn't really use an iron that much, which, yeah, maybe my clothes look sometimes 1% more wrinkled at most, but it doesn't matter in college. I did iron on occasion, using the irons my dorms and apartments provided, but if you just buy some wrinkle release spray, hang your clothes up properly, and invest in more wrinkle-resistant clothing, you'll do just fine. Even in the real world, I still don't iron extremely regularly, yet I still wear clothes like this under my coat all of the time. So for the average student, an iron is another item I'd probably wait on until you know you actually need it. So at the end of the day, there are quite a few items that, although potentially beneficial, I'd hold off on buying before college, because university is expensive enough already. And before you spend money on something, ask yourself one question. Do I actually need this right now? Or am I buying it because someone online told me I should? Because in many cases, waiting a few weeks after arriving on campus can save you a lot of money and help you figure out what you truly need. So hopefully this video helped you out. If there are any purchases you regret making before college, let me know down below. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.